moving on quickly to another quarterback that is forever in the news, and right now it's not necessarily for the right reasons. I wanted to ask the question: does Shedeur Sanders hurt his draft stock with some teams? Bleacher Report came out with an article. Apparently, there was rumors that Shedeur Sanders had, bad interviews with some teams. Some teams were offended by some of the things he said, and basically he said when he goes to visit these teams, he tells them exactly who he is and what he's expecting, and kind of looking at what they're expecting from him. And he said some teams, they understand that, they know kind of the business, the back and forth, and they're okay with it. Other teams kind of standoffish. That it's they're taken aback by that he's not just this rookie saying, hey, I'll come in, I want to be a part of your team, but he's actually kind of saying, I know what I'm looking for, I see what you're looking for, where do we meet? So will this hurt his draft stock? I mean, we all know he was supposed to be drafted fairly high. We know his ability, but we also know that his dad has come out a couple times saying, my son's not going to play for a losing team. My son's going to, we want somewhere where he's going to succeed. Eric, I'm going to come to you first. Does this affect it, or is this just a off-season story?
I guess it just depends on who he rubbed the wrong way.
Yep.
If it was Cleveland, yes. Um, it's really hard to say. He's clearly been a very confident young man, like the entire time we've seen him, which is fantastic. But to your point, I think some of these NFL rooms also want someone to do exactly what you said. Come in. Oh, I'm so thankful. I'll do anything ever for the opportunity. And he might just be like, more like, hey, I'm interviewing you too. And
Mm.
that can rub people the wrong way. But when I do a job interview, I'm interviewing them when they're interviewing me. I want to know if I want to work
Mm-hmm.
for you. Um, so I'd hate to speculate too much because, other than, flashing his watch, I don't really see much of what he has done that has kind of given him this arrogant perception that people have.
Mm.
Um, but that's just from my viewpoint. Um, if he drops because of this, then he's going to land with a good team, and things are going to turn out much better for him. So, heck, if that's the plan, show your butt to every team in the top 15.
Well, and that's the thing. That's the thing, Alex. Like that to me kind of, I don't want to say that somebody would do that, but he's in a unique situation. And to Eric's point, if there's a job where I'm going to this job and I know my worth, and I'm going to it, I'm gonna say, okay, yeah, I see what you're offering me. Now let me tell you what I'm bringing to the table, and
Yep.
let's readjust that. Unfortunately, outside of the top 15 to 20 picks, a lot of people don't have that option. They have to kiss the ring, if you will. So when you see something like this, I mean, going along with kind of what we're talking about, not necessarily the assault and all that, but the attitude of certain players. We've seen guys like a Josh Rosen come in the league and say, "I don't need to play in the league. My
Mm-hmm.
family's well, we're good." And then, I mean, his play didn't help him, but where is he gone after he was looked at in that draft with what wasn't that the Tua, the Lamont, who was in
Rosen
that?
was Lamar, Baker, Allen,
Yes.
Darnold.
Yeah. So you look at those four, the other four, and what they've done, even Darnold having the show out year they had last year compared to Rosen. And a lot of what people didn't like was just he rubbed people the wrong way. It's kind
Mm-hmm.
of his bravado in it. Now, Shedeur, I think, is a lot better than Rosen from college play to the league, but still, that attitude, I understand how it would rub people the wrong way, but if you're good, that's what his dad did, you
Yeah.
know?
People keep
Exactly.
calling Aaron Rodgers.
Yep. Yeah, he's a 41-year-old quarterback that's still getting looked at for teams. So,
Right?
He's a
I mean, we
deep.
just talked about it in a different aspect, but if you're a good enough player, they'll push aside differences they have with you. So,
Mm-hmm.
and at the same time, we've all said it here. If I'm going to a situation, interviewing for a job, and I don't like what they're selling me, I'm not going to go there.
Right.
So, in a sense where you don't get a say and they get to pick you, well, if I don't want to go there, I'm going to try and make sure you don't want me. So I'm going to try and force your hand to be like, we're not taking this guy. And when you're looking at the teams that need a quarterback still, Giants might be looking, even though they got Russ and Jameis. But then it's the Saints, which that doesn't seem like a very good situation.
Now, I will say Carr, and shout out to Tina and I, we were doing Let's Talk Football breaking news. We found out that Carr, there's potentially a chance that he'll sit out 2025 with the shoulder
looking more
injury.
and more likely that he's already done for the year.
But now you got Spencer and Jake behind.
For me, it's if I'm going in there as a quarterback, then this is a team that year after year after year is in salary cap hell, and they're having to get rid of players.
Yes.
I don't want to be locked in for 4 years in a situation where year after year they're going to have to get rid of more and more talent to be under the salary cap. So to me, if I'm a quarterback, I don't want to go to New Orleans.
Yeah.
So then it's where's that next? Try like if I'm Shedeur, I'm okay with going to Pittsburgh. I'm okay with sliding a little bit and going, say, sit behind Stafford for a year or two and sit in LA. Like there's situations in the 20s there that if you're a quarterback is a great spot to go. Yeah. I don't want to go to Cleveland. I don't want to go to New Orleans. I don't want to go play for the Giants where your coach and GM are probably fired after a year and then it's nobody has any ties to you that comes in. So I don't have a problem with Sheduer doing this. It's the Sanders family doing what they do. They rub people the wrong way all the time. And and it's him trying to have a bit of say in where he goes. I don't hate it.
Right. And look, let's not act like this hasn't happened before. Let's not act like the Jack Elways of the world with with John and the Manning family, who we're kind of comparing these guys to, that they didn't do this very same thing. And the difference is, and Dion gets bad rap. He came out and said, "We're not going to do this. We know what the trend is. The best quarterback goes to the worst place. We're not going to do this." And I think what I like more about Dion is that we all look at his bravado and love him or hate him. You respect the heck out of him. You respect his play, and you've seen what he's been able to do. Right. He wins wherever he goes. So if he is, and we've seen when he
did it himself as a prospect.
Well, right. And we've seen like when he has guys like a Travis Hunter, Shedeur, he builds these guys up. These guys he coaches them. Yeah, yes, they're good, but he's helping them to be as great as they are and putting them in those situations. So, yes, if you want to do that, do that. I mean, you have the talent. He is in that place where he knows he's good enough, so they're going to come to him. And it's almost like a recruiting thing where he's like, okay, yeah, I don't have to sign here. I don't have to come here. What do you want? What are you going to offer me? And a lot of people that rubs them the wrong way, but look, if you got the ability, if we don't frown on it, if we're talking about a performer who's charging crazy amounts for their tickets, or another kind of entertainer, a sculptor or a painter or something like that that's charging all this stuff, why are we going to do it here? This is also an art, you know what I mean? And he's that good. He's worked his way up. Let's go.
Well, I understand the thought process of you should just be happy you made it to the league. Yes, that's absolutely 100%. You made it to the league, fine. But where you get drafted can make or break your entire career before it even starts.
Right.
So, like, we've seen so many talented players drafted to Cleveland or the Raiders or the Lions for a very long time, and it destroys their career because they ended up in a terrible situation. So, for a player to be looking out for himself and be like, I'm going to try and put myself in a good situation, why are people hating on it? I don't.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me.
And kind of going to marry 2 points that Sean made. So let's give him the fact that he does have the Josh Rosen effect where he doesn't need to go to the NFL. He will not suffer if he doesn't go to the NFL in his lifetime. And we'll marry that with the fact that we know that he is a top talent. So If this was my boy Riley Leonard, then he should be shining the shoes of
Yeah.
GMs when
Mm,
he's
mm.
in there. But he knows someone's taking him.
Yeah.
That he's not going through 7 rounds undrafted. He knows that, and he
He
knows
will
that.
be picked on Thursday. I
Agree.
going. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you just set the bottom line is he knows he's getting picked no matter what, and
Yeah.
he knows he doesn't have to probably work another day of his life if he didn't want
Mm.
to. Not that his dad would be okay with that, but
Dion would probably bring him on as a coach.
yeah,
Right.
exactly.
He would help him out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's in a different spot than anybody else. So we can't treat everybody exactly the same. We should treat everybody fairly, but we
Yeah.
can't treat everybody equally.
Yeah.
And look, you don't have to go far to talk about the comparison of how you treat somebody, because Shiloh Sanders ain't gonna be able to go into these rooms and say that type of
Exactly.
stuff. Shiloh's saying, "Hey, please, I'll play nickel, I'll play slot, I'll play special teams, whatever you need," because Shiloh is not Shedeur.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, so we'll definitely see with that. And like you said, I think that's a great point. He's going to get drafted. He knows he's going to get drafted, and he knows he doesn't need necessarily to go because he will be taken care of. But we know his skill. We'll see. I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be very interesting.